What's up, y'all? My name is Zay Ade, and I'm here with Dream Team International. My wildest dreams could come true. I think my dream would just be that nobody dies, like, and no violence and all that in the world. Because when I look at the world, like the world could really be live. Like we could all just enjoy and have fun with no death and all that. So that would be my dream. That we could just live and have fun, no violence, and just all love one another. Funny, I think I was a fun guy. I think I'm pretty funny. Diligent. Like when I say that I'm going to do this, when I have a vision of how I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it that exact way, or I won't be able to sleep at night. So if I say this is what I want to do, this is how I'm going to do it. If I don't do it that way, I literally be tossing and turning in bed. So diligent. I want to say so. It's a time where I started my career, and then there's a time that I got serious in what I'm doing. I want to say I started my career in rapping probably like high school, but I used to do a lot of poetry, a lot of playing around with the words and all that stuff. And then I started putting poetry on a beat, and it actually happened on accident. I was in the studio with one of my friends because he made music, and I was just there because there was nothing else to do. And he had a little bit of extra studio time, and he was like, "Hey, yo, come rap." And I'm like, "I don't rap." And he's like, "Bro, just write something, bro. We're not gonna put this out anyway." And then I remember I wrote something, got in the booth, and the engineer said something that stuck with me. He was like, "Bro, you have a really nice voice. You should do this." And I remember I went home and I was like, okay, maybe I should. And I like the feeling of being in the booth as well. So from then on, I started rapping. So I want to say like 2018. 2018 is when I started like taking my craft seriously. I label myself as an artist, like in general, because I feel like I do much more than rap. Like I'm a musician. I play instruments. I sing. I attempt to sing at least, and I just feel like I have so much sounds in my head to just be called a rapper. Like 9 times out of 10, I don't even have like rap music in my head. Like I just have so many sounds. Like I could produce as well. I just don't go into producing, but I could do all those things. So when I look at myself, I more so see an artist than just a rapper. So I was in a film with Mount Zion called Last Man Standing 2, and it was fun. I also consider myself an actor. When I was young, my parents actually put me and my sisters in this agency, and for like acting and stuff. And I was supposed to be in some Kicks commercial. You remember Kicks, the little series? I was supposed to be in that commercial when I was like 11 years old. I was supposed to be in Barney, all that stuff. But after we passed the auditions and everything, then it was like, oh yeah, they can't go to school. They have to fly to California and do all this stuff. And my mom was like, nah, bro, y'all going to school. Because my mom thought it was going to be a side thing because me and my sister got recruited. My sister was supposed to be in Corey in the House. She actually got the role to Corey in the House until they started, adding all the extra stuff. It was like we have to miss school and all that. My mom wasn't going like that. But acting has always been like somewhat of a passion for me as well. So being in the camera that way was very funny. It was very interesting, and I got typecasted. Like when they casted me, they was like, "You're gonna be the bad guy because you have the bad guy look," and I love that role so much. It's a great movie. You guys go check it out. So the sequel was really fun. It was a continuation of my first album that I ever put together, which is called Ade. Back in 2020, I put together Ade, and then the sequel is more so like a deluxe of that album. So I just took some songs from that album, added some other artists that I really liked, collaborating with them, and then I added some other, songs with that as well, and it did very well. I think the first album, the Ade, did very, very well, and that's why people was like, "No, you need to do a deluxe, like a sequel to that album." So that was a very fun process. Very fun process. My favorite record on Ade, it had to have been. Okay, my favorite record on Ade, the actual first album, is Hello. This song called Hello. That's probably even the biggest song on there, to be honest. And then on the sequel, I did a Hello remix. But my favorite song on the sequel is this song called Literally, it's just that was my favorite one because the way that I make music is just how I'm feeling that day. So literally, I don't write. Even my engineer, he knows that I don't write much. It's like however Isaiah's feeling this morning is how you gonna come. So it was one of those days where I was feeling, like that guy. So so it was fun. So when I listen to it, it brings every time I listen to my music, it brings me back to the mindset that I was in that day, and I'm like, oh, I like that. I can feel it more. Mm. I think the hardest part about making music is just getting people to pay attention to it. Like making music within itself, like is natural. If it's not natural, I don't feel like you should be doing it. I feel like the hardest part is really trying to figure out algorithms. I'm not really a social media person like that. Or I've really suck at like campaigning and doing all that stuff, like promoting. I'm horrible at that. So I think that's the hardest part, like just trying to make your music, get heard to the right people. Right. Honestly, I don't really, I'm not really big on working with people like that because I feel like my music is kind of like my safe space. Um, for me to work with someone, it has to be because we have a relationship already. Like one of my favorite artists, Foggy Raw, that's like my big brother. So when we do music, it's always natural. Zombie, people like that is like when I usually do music with people, it happens naturally. So I want to say there's no one like crazy. Oh, my other bro, even Manny Wells, like that's someone that I feel like we could make something naturally, but I wouldn't say there's no one that I really look at and I'm like, oh, I need to make music with that person. I just like things to happen naturally. If I do make a friend off music that makes music, I more so get to know that person. I don't really care about the music aspect. Alright, my inspiration is drawn from a lot of areas. I just take little pieces of my life and my childhood and everything that just shapes me to who I am. My first inspiration is God, of course, like, making music to His glory, and making music to God's glory is not necessarily like you're making Christian rap music, like just being yourself, is showing God's glory, So um, a lot of people, like I don't listen to a lot of rap music. Everyone that knows me, my favorite artist is Sam Cooke. That's an R&B singer from like the 70s. That's my favorite artist of all time. I listen to him probably like every year. That's my most played artist on Spotify. I listen to a lot of R&B. My favorite R&B artist of this generation or my generation is Usher. I listen to a lot of Usher. I listen to a lot of Mario. I love that type of music. I stay away from rap, listening to rap a lot, because like when you listen to a lot of that, you're gonna start to sound like that. But I get my inspiration from many areas. Gospel music, I love gospel music. I'm a drummer and a bass player, so I listen to a lot of gospel music. So my inspiration is just, I feel like it's interesting with me because I just draw little things from everybody, and then it just shapes my sound randomly. Say from 5 years ago, well, honestly, be like, dang, bro, what happened? What are you doing? Because like 5 years ago, I would never think that I would be like actually making music. Like 5 years ago, I didn't think that like I would be. 5 years ago, I didn't think that I would actually be, doing shows and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I think yeah, say from 5 years ago definitely would be like, wow, how did you get here? Because I used to look at people and like, oh, people who have fans, stuff like that. I didn't really care for that stuff, but just being able to perform, doing interviews, doing stuff like this, like I would never see myself doing it. So in the next 5 years, I definitely see myself just being in the background, like helping others, supporting others, giving advice to people, like I kind of like being a background type of person, honestly, like just helping people, probably doing features here and there, whatever, but definitely doing some background stuff. The main advice that I would give to someone is just be yourself. Like, don't try to be like these other rappers that talk about killing and all that stuff. Like, they're talking about that stuff because that's their life, 9 times out of 10. If that's not your life, you don't have to fake a lifestyle. Music doesn't have to be. Sometimes people think if music is not violent, then it's corny. Like not being yourself is actually corny. So just be yourself. That's one thing I learned early on, because when I first started like making music, I used to try to pander to a certain group, and I couldn't even listen to my own music because I felt like I wasn't being genuine. But now like I found so much freedom in being myself, and when you pander to people, then people are always still gonna have something to say. The people you even pander to are gonna have something to say. But when you're just doing you, like fans will come naturally. People will hear you. People will feel it more when you're just being yourself. People could tell when you're being genuine or when you're being, not genuine. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. Like I think that I'm here to do music. Like not necessarily rap or anything, but like just all the stuff that I do, instruments, rapping, acting. I just feel like I'm just doing the best of my ability to fulfill my purpose. And just reaching people that I feel like other people can't really reach. Because of the way that I'm talking, the way that I'm doing things, just grasping people's attention and kind of giving them a positive message. It was just a spur of the moment. I was just making fun of like how the 360 cameras be, and then I was just like, oh, I told my sister, oh, let me make a 360 camera view, and I just started singing in the back, and it kind of caught on. And then one of my friends was like, Brad, you got to keep going with this. You could go viral on TikTok. You can make the shade room and all that. Zay Ade is the only one I wanna be. You gon' see. I can never switch or be like one of these. God said I'm blessed in this mess.